Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Manish and thank you so much for joining the session on iVend Receipt Designer. I think this is by far one of the most, should I say, significant development that we have incorporated in iVend Retail 6.5 update 2. More importantly, the reason why it becomes more significant is because earlier what we had to do was to customize the XML receipts, and then there were very little options available to customize the XML receipts. But today what we have is a full-fledged, what you see is what you get, kind of a receipt designer. It's not just the receipt designer for the transaction receipt, but I think it's a designer for almost all possible types of receipts that you can possibly create in iVend Retail. So with that said, I would also like to introduce my panelist here. I have along with me Jyotsna, who is the product manager for the receipt designer, and she'll take you through a few options, and she'll try and talk about how the receipts can be designed. We would not be creating a new one, but what we'll try and do is we'll try and pick up an existing one and try and edit it. So that's the whole intent. And I think rather than, getting into the presentation part of it, the presentation would be available on the knowledge portal anyways. So rather than doing that, we would much rather go straight away into the product and try and explain how best this can be done. So I have here with me installed iVend Retail 6.5 update 2, and the place where you locate the receipt designer is go to administration, go to retail configuration, and go to receipt print format. So that's where you would typically start, and these are the ones which are available by default. So you have a transaction receipt, a good receipt, a quotation, a payment, a coupon, and so on and so forth. So what we want to do is what we really want to do today is try and pick up an existing, let's say, a transaction receipt for sake of discussion, and see how best can this be customized for in iVend Retail. So I will hand it over to Jyotsna, who will try and explain this to you. So let's say transaction receipt, edit. Okay, you'll have to give an ID. Let's say updated, let's call it TR, updated transaction receipt, and I press the design option. So what you see here is a slightly overwhelming screen, I must say, but as you go through it, you will be able to figure this out easily. So we have here different sections. So we have something for the header, for the sales item, for exchange, and so on and so forth. And I think on this stage, I would much rather hand it over to Jyotsna for her to explain.
In transaction receipt, we have a different type of sections which known as a enumerator. So the enumerator known as a detail section, which is the sale item, exchange item, delivery, and these all type of enumerator sections are come in detail sections. And in transaction receipt, we have a header and footer part. In the header, we are describe all the store name, store description, address, and any type of headings which are transaction ID and transaction date, which we want to print on the transaction receipt. And in the footer section, we all are using the summary of all transactions, and the some printing part like a barcode and some text which we want to print, then we can use in the footer section like this. So we have a template of transaction receipt. Now we will edit this report.
I think what you can also do is you can modify this or possibly
Yes,
create a
we
new
can.
one. Okay, so it's okay if you want to create a new one. I'm fine with that. You can just, for the sake of explanation, you can actually create a new one if you want to.
Create a
Or
new
where
one.
you create a new one, a simple transaction receipt, which covers most, if not all, the elements of the receipt designer.
Okay, so we are
Just cancel this and create a new one.
yeah, and we will using the two sections, which is sale and refund.
Yes, that'll be
Okay.
good. That'll be good.
we will select a receipt type, which is a transaction receipt type. So we can use in the print profile this report in the print profile as a transaction receipt. So
Sorry. Yeah, that's good.
sorry. In the drop down, we
Yeah.
are selecting the transaction receipt. Give a name again.
New TR.
TR.
New TR.
And then in the document data, we will, when we design a report, then the document data will automatically fill with the XML code. The default section will comes with header, and if we want to add a more sections, then go to add new, and then in add new we have all the remaining sections existing in the drop down.
All right, so let's start with the header part first.
So
We can maybe put a logo, whatever.
yeah. In the enterprise we have exist a logo, so we will put a logo, and then it will recommended a open section with a new logo file, which we are using a BMP monochrome format. So if we have a BMP monochrome format file, then we will use it.
I don't think I would be having one, but that's okay. But we can.
You can cancel it if
yes.
you do not have.
Let's
Then
leave
you
it.
can, you will add it if you have a BMP monochrome file, then you can add it, upload logo image, and then you can upload it. Now we will start. With the store description, then put a span 2 so that the store description will exist in the 2 span. Okay. So we will put store description, store address 1, 2, and 3, and all the details of a store address we will put on the receipt in the header section. Now we will put a transaction report, transaction ID, transaction date, and pause type of description. So we will use a transaction ID. Now in this and to use a transaction ID label, we will use a text, and you can add it in the text. Transaction ID, and this is the label and this is the value. The actual date, and now in the transaction we will put a pause description, the pause ID and pause name. This is the pause name. Now in the transaction receipt, if you want to print a customer detail, then you will put an add group control, and in the add group control we will merge all the fields like first name, last name and middle name in the first row. So we go to transaction, expand the customer, and go to select the first name, middle name, and the last name. And just like that we will put a user information also. So select your text box, the user info, and then drag the user information like first name, user ID, user job title, anything. And now you can give a break through blank line or a separator. So we will put a separator, and if we drag the separator it will takes a full space of line. So you can change the separator type like hyphen, asterisk and hashtag, anything. So this is the header part is completed. Now come to sale item. The next detail section. In the detail section you can see in the left side of tab the detail, the header and footer both are disabled and the detail section is enabled. As per detail section, the sale item. So we can drag and use the sale item description. First of all, the sale detail section is separated in three parts. First is header. It's an individual sale detail section header, and then the detail section, and in the gray section is the footer part. So you can summarize the footers, the sales item sections in the footer part. And the text, it's a product item. This is the labels, the description, the price, and using the quantity.
So Josna, the question is, can I actually have a preview of what I've done so far?
Yes.
Where can I see the preview?
In the preview section, the left side,
Can you show
after
that?
the variable,
Can
the
you just show
preview
that?
is.
Show the preview?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how it will look like so far.
Yes.
All right.
Now we will drag the actual values in the white section, which is a detail section. So use the product ID in the item, the description in description section, and now use the price, the quantity, and the total. Under the quantity we have used the label total, so the under the quantity detail value we use the total post sale discount, which is a total value of a product. In the total I have add a row below and using a separator. So now if I am seeing, this is the complete part of header, and now the pause information, the user information, and the item, the sale. In the sale item we are using the labels and then the detail section. So your report look like this.
So can I also add the footer section here?
Yes, in the footer section you can use the
So
total.
how would the refund thing work here? I mean, I'm talking about a transaction receipt. How does the refund part work here?
In the current transaction receipt we can see the section, the different sections is coming, the different section is coming. So this is the sale section.
Okay.
And this is the refund section. So in the refund section you can create a new design, or you can copy the same section which you are create in the sale item. So in the sale item you can right click and copy the design, and then you can give the section name or the proper name.
So does that mean that when I'm trying to sell, when the receipt is being printed, it will automatically decide whether it's a sale or a refund?
Yes, because the refund in the new section we are using the section type. The section type is automatically defined the sections.
Okay.
So we when we are using the sale item, refund item, then we have to define the section type before we creating the sale item and footer.
Okay.
Before I creating the sale item and refund, we have I have
Can
select
you
the
just show
section
that?
type.
No, this I've understood. Can you actually create a refund part?
Yes.
Yes.
So
And let's see how it goes.
Let's we create a copied section.
Yes, do that.
The copy, when we are selecting a copy, then I have to select a section type. So this is the refund section type, and refund sale, and okay. So I can delete the refund. Okay. So see, uh, this is the my transaction ID, and in this transaction ID I have only sale items.
Okay.
I will sale only do a sale transaction. So in this transaction, this the sale item only display, while I have a refund section also. But the report will not display the refund section because in this transaction we do not have a refund.
Okay, item.
Yeah.
All right. Understood. So this is what you're trying to say is if there is a transaction which has both sale and a refund.
Yes.
Okay, then the sale
Then
part would look the way you have designed in the sale tab.
Yes.
And the refund part would look the way you have designed in the refund tab. Okay.
And both will display after the sale item, the refund will display. But in the designer tab, if you create a refund item first and then the sale item second, then it will display the refund and sale.
So it is basically the order of the tabs.
Order of the tabs.
Understood.
So in the footer section, we will just create some total items, and the total of discount. Total of discount is the sale discount.
Okay.
Which we are apply on the pause, the sale discount. In the footer section, this discount is a sale discount, and in the detail section, we have also a discount, which is a line level discount, where we can call item level discount also. So in the this discount in the detail section, the discount amount is the item level discount, and in the footer section, we have a discount which is a sale level discount.
All right.
The text is a total quantity. So we'll just drag total items, the number of items you are using in the transaction receipt, the number of quantity, how many quantity of the items are in transaction receipt, and
so
the
is there
subtotal.
documentation available for this? For the fields that are displaying on the left hand side. So the documentation that we have, does it also mention that what does each and every field actually mean, or are we supposed to know by ourselves?
Actually, in the previous version, we have a document.
So I think it's
little bit update, need a little bit update for this document, the existing document. And these all the parts are already in the database, so we have already provide all the objects you are using in the relative receipts, pause receipts. All the objects are already available in the database, so in the tab all existing objects are available.
Okay.
And we will use a transaction ID barcode. The barcode as a transaction ID, and using as a barcode, select this span, because the barcode comes in the full part of report.
Okay.
So it will comes with as a barcode. You can use the symbology which is display in the drop down. Any type of symbology you can use it. So now the barcode is not displayed in the preview, because the barcode always properly print on the while you are printing the report. So it will display just like a transaction ID. So you can see in the print preview. This is the simple report which I have done.
Okay.
And
so
now I will show you some other parts like a variable.
Yeah,
can I use?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Like a variable, because in the previous version we are using item level discount. the example. The example is a item level discount, and the user want to use the item level discount and the sale level discount both comes in the footer part of report. So it will very tricky to use a variable and then use the variable, set a value in the variable in the sale section, and then the sale section will comes, that value will comes in after the sale section in the footer section. Very tricky task to use. And now in the report designer, it's very easy. Create a variable, give a just name, any name. So we will it will not take a same name of object.
Okay.
It will show you an error message if you using the same name of object name for variable.
Okay.
So I will use only item level discount, like item discount, and select the add. Now see, this variable will exist in all the sections in the variable. The variable tab will use already append, and the item discount which we are create in the variable, it will exist in the details.
How do I populate this variable?
When we create a variable in the variable section and add it, click on add button and then all the section.
No, that's okay. My question is, if I have to assign a value to this variable.
Yes, we will drag, only just a drag.
Okay.
So the item discount here, I will drag it, and then in the variable settings, the property of variable settings, we will use the item discount plus select operator and then item, the discount item. Now it will calculate all the items discount. If we have more than one items and those have all items have a discount, then it will calculate all the item level discount. If you want to print this discount on the sale detail section, the sale item, you can use the print variable through check. And if you do not want to print this item discount, calculate the variable value on the detail section, you can uncheck the print variable. Now in the footer section, come to the footer section and use the discount item. In the discount item, let's remove this value, and now we will drag the variable, because in the footer discount, the sale and header the sale discount, we will add the item label discount. So put item discount, and in the item discount add a discount amount. And now if we have a multiple discounts for the items, then it will add it, and the display the discount will added value with item and sale both.
All right, very good.
So this is the variable which we are using in transaction receipt and section.
Okay. So there are a few questions. Hang on.
Yes. You can apply the formula also.
So one of the questions is, how can I edit the length of the selected labels, like description length?
You can select the label or the object, like in the footer section. Currently we have a footer section, the total amount, and the total amount comes in the span 1. Actually we have all in the transaction receipt, we have only 40 character space, which is bifurcated in the 4 columns.
Okay.
In the 4 columns, 4 call spans.
Okay.
So the each column will drag in the each span. Okay. So you can expand the span size using the span property for that existing text box or object. Okay. So in the span column, you can expand the value. This is the 1 to 4. You can expand only 1 to 4.
So Mamta, does that answer your question?
So let me show you. Like this text box, I have dragged it. It's drag on the one section. You can select the size of 3, then it will drag on 3 columns.
All right. Okay. Got it. So I think before we go forward, I would like to take a pause here and then open the forum for any questions that you may have. So you can use the hand icon and I can open the line for questions. You can always use the questions menu, or you can use the chat window to ask any questions that you may have before we move on to the second part, where we try and pick up an existing report and try and explain the different sections in that report. So having done this part, a very basic stuff, we will now pick up something which is slightly more complicated, an existing report, and then see and explain the different elements of that that particular transaction receipt or any other report. So if you have any questions, yes, there is one question, and I will open the line. Just give me a second. So I am unmuting Zephania. Yes, go ahead. You can ask the question, please.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I joined a little late, but I don't know whether my question has been asked before, but I want to ask, I have about 2 questions right now.
Okay.
One is, I was not able to add logo, even when I have updated the logo field with the specific logo I needed. I could not see it on the preview, neither did I see it during printing.
Okay. And the second question?
That is one. And the second one is that at the point I tried to change the total field. That is the total itself, the field on the footer. But I realized that if I delete it from I realized that I cannot move it. That is from one particular field to other, or from one column to other. And if I have to delete it, there is no other variables or there is no total on the left white pane where I could select it and then drag back to where I want it to be. So these are 2 major issues I have.
All right, understood. So let's try and answer the first one, which is the logo. How do you explain the logo part? Can you please explain, Josna, the logo thing?
Logo in the header section, you can drag the logo from enterprise object. When you drag the logo, it will open a open dialog box, and you can select the BMP monochrome file which you have exist in C drive.
So it should be the C drive?
It should be the C drive. So the open dialog box, it's come with the C drive. When you
That's correct.
When you select,
that's correct. Okay.
And update.
Go ahead.
You can update also. If you want to change your logo, or you do not have a current in the current time you do not have a logo, and then after some time you have a logo file,
logo, yeah.
Then you can update. So see the open dialog box with the open in the C drive, and with the BMP image monochrome.
Just see if we have a BMP image.
If we have a BMP monochrome image, then you can select it.
See, there's no. So let's try and get a BMP monochrome image.
Let me say this. One is that the system will definitely constrain you to pick the logo from C drive. That is one. Then 2, which is good. Then 2 is that when you did update or you drag and drop logo, it does not show. So I was wondering if there is a specific size, probably the dimension of the logo, of the PMP logo, is being restricted to.
So I don't think there is a limitation in terms of the size of the logo, but I think yes, it should be. It should not be a very heavy file in MBs, for example. It should be a small little file, and that should.
Yes, like my own is 16 KB.
Yes, something on those lines. Yes, it should certainly come. It should certainly come there. I'm so sorry, I do not have a BMP file on my machine. Let me try and get hold of one while Jyotsna tries to answer the second question, which was around the totals. Can you please ask the question again?
Okay. The question is this. When you go to footer, can you please go to footer?
Okay.
Now,
Footer.
when you go to footer, you realize that you have a total. Okay, I'm not seeing total here, but in my own, the the template right there has total,
Hmm.
but I realized that where the total is not where I want it to be. Now, I cannot drag, the system does not allow me to drag the total from one field to other or from one column to other. Therefore, the only option there is to delete it and then add the logo, add the total back. Now, when I deleted it, I did not see total on the footer field, that is on the left pen, white pen,
Okay.
where items are dragged and dropped. I did not see it, so I searched for it all through. I didn't see it, so drag and drop.
If you do not have any object in the left panel, then you can create your own object. So just
Okay.
like you can drag the text box and the right click on the text box and create use as a property. See,
Okay.
see the use as a property. Okay.
Property,
So
yeah.
when you are using this as a property, it will treat as a object. Though, like in the left panel, we are using the object, so that text box also treat as a object property. In the transaction receipt, we are using the transaction dot total, right?
I didn't get you. I didn't get. Yeah, the transaction. Yes, the transaction total. That's correct.
In the transaction receipt, in the XML, we are using the transaction dot total. The object name is transaction
Yes.
dot total. So you can put a transaction dot total. So it will treat as a object type because you will create this text box as a property. So if we do not have any object in the left panel.
Actually, what is also happening is Eddie, for example, has the same problem of the logo. Okay, then another question. So yeah, go ahead and then Eddie, I'm trying to get hold of a logo. I mean, such a silly thing. I'm trying to get hold of a logo, and we'll try and do the logo for you at runtime right now. And while Jyotsna tries to explain the total part of it.
So you can use this text box as a property. So now the text box is not a normal label text box. It will treat as a property object property. So now you can see. I think the transaction dot total amount is a actual property name.
Okay.
A transaction or subtotal. It's a transaction dot subtotal. Transaction.
No problem, that's okay. You forgot the name of the property? Yes. No problem.
But just like that, we can use the transaction, all the property name like product.product ID. So you can use the product.product ID.
Yeah, you
sale
can
item product.product ID.
Yeah, no problem.
Like
you can always get in touch with on the forum. We can explain what we can answer for now because there are other questions as well. So and we'll keep on trying doing it for this session. But some other questions, Jyotsna, for you. Can I add a new table to this? If I want to add a new table here, can we add a table? No, we can't add a table in existing.
For the transaction, we have some specific objects. So those objects are displayed in the left side, and some objects are in forum. We have uploaded in the Excel file.
Okay.
You cannot use a new table because it's not display just a table value. Those are the objects which we are using for printing the transaction receipt or all type of POS receipts.
Okay. The other question that we have here is that can we use the designer to print something as a watermark?
No, not now.
So you understood, right?
Yes.
So in the entire receipt, I have something, let's say a sample, or it may be my logo.
Yeah, the watermark, you can use a
pre-printed stationery.
Pre-printed stationery.
All right.
But not in the receipt designer.
Okay. Okay. And hang on, I have a few more questions here coming up. Thank you so much, guys. Make it more interactive. So Eddie has this problem of monochrome the same problem as what was where what he's using is a 250 pixel file located in the C drive, and the logo does not print.
No, logo is printing on the while you are print actual receipt, but in the print preview you can not see the logo, because the print preview is just like we are using the simulator in the pause.
Okay.
It's just like that type of preview.
So Eddie, I think I'll unmute you so that you are able to ask the question more appropriate.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Eddie, go ahead.
Okay, so I followed all the instructions for the logo. I've made it a monochrome bitmap file. It's 250 pixels wide. It's located on the root of the C drive on all the machines, but it does not print at all on the receipt from any of my machines.
What type of file you are using? Because
it's a monochrome bitmap file, BMP.
It's a monochrome bitmap.
Yes.
Yes.
And in which path you are picking from the monochrome file?
Yeah, well, it's on the C drive.
That not print.
And it's not printing.
It will not print at all.
So Jyotsna is shaking her head in absolute this thing. No, it's not possible. And I'm having a very silly problem. I'm not able to copy a bitmap file from wherever to the C drive.
Yeah, Windows 10 security won't allow you to just copy to the C drive. You have to do it in admin one prompt.
Yes, I'm trying to do that. That possibly was the reason. Give me a second. So not able to do that. I'm more of a Mac guy, so not able to get this thing done. So
if he has still that same problem, then he can raise the on support or forum.
Eddie, I think
will help him.
I think what would be most beneficial for all of us, if logo is a problem, that we should try and ask a question in the forum, and we'll be more than happy to answer it.
Okay, I have raised the question in the forum, and I'm not the only person. There was another person that raised the same question in the forum, but so far we haven't had any feedback.
All right,
regarding this issue.
this can't get more embarrassing than this. Sorry, I will have this thing. I'll have this thing looked into right away. Okay, and we'll have someone answer. If nothing else, possibly we'll try and post a short little video as to how we're doing it. Maybe there's a trick up Jyotsna's sleeve that we're not able to figure out.
All right.
Then I think that's largely it, I guess, for now. And guys, if you have some more questions, do me a favor, raise it on the forum, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. But I think it has been a good session so far. I think there is a need for us to have a slightly more detailed section on this, where I will ensure that I have the logo in the C drive and I'm able to, kind of print it, possibly try and show how it is printed. Maybe there is a trick up the sleeve here that we are not able to demonstrate it for you. So I think my problem is very different, is that I'm not able to do this. Anyway, let's keep talking. And Jyotsna, why don't you try and explain, pick up an existing one and try and explain the different elements of that particular report.
Now I will save this file. Click OK. And now see the document data. In the document data, the XML will generate it behind which we are using in the print profile. So now click OK and again OK. And now the report transaction receipt type, a new report will exist in the new TR. So you can use the same in the print profile. I will show you. In the retail configuration, go to print profile, and in the print profile I am using the default print profile. Edit it, and now the transaction, go to the transaction receipt. Now in the 6.502 version we cannot edit the text data in here. Now we will use the browse, and now in the browse, here the two type of transaction receipt exist. One is the default transaction receipt and the second which we right now I am creating as a new transaction receipt. So you can use anything else, and that file will use as a print profile on the POS. Okay, and okay. Now this is the way to use the existing or the new creating transaction receipt in the print profile. Now I am create an existing transaction receipt and edit it. This is the default transaction receipt, and in the default transaction receipt we have all the objects exist in the report. So now if I want to add a salesperson, so in the salesperson, if I want to print the salesperson before the label which we are using in the receipt, like the hash product name, before the hash product name I am using the salesperson name. So go to product and select the above row, add above row. The row will exist in the above of the product. Give a separator. The transaction salesperson. This is the sale added salesperson names. When on the POS, I am using the sale on the sale added the salesperson name we are using. This is the salesperson name. The on the sale added. They exist on the sale added. Username and user job code. Using the first name, the middle of an enumerator. If I am using an other enumerator, then it will treat as a group control. This value is display as a group control. So the first name, last name and middle name, all the names comes with after the first name, it will display the last name and the middle name. So if we are giving any separator, then using the format and giving a separator with hyphen, So if we have any user using in the transaction receipt, then the username will display under the label username persons. In the existing transaction receipt, we have a default row number of rows display on the section wise. So if you want to add the more section, you can use the set number of rows. This is the default 32 number of rows are comes, and if you want to add more rows, then select the 35, and then this will display the more rows in under the 32 rows. Now I'm using a customer name. You can use the if condition also. First of all, you have to drag the first name, last name, and middle name of the customer. If the transaction.customer is not equal to the store cash customer, then the name will display, or otherwise the name will not display. So in the if condition, I'm using the transaction.store key, cash customer key, is not equal to the next value customer key, and select the update. While the transaction store.cash customer key is not equal to customer key, then this will not display the first name, last name of the customer. I'm using the label, so now the customer name is not displayed because in this transaction I'm using a cash customer as a customer. Just like that, you can use more than if conditions on the transaction receipt. In the footer section, you can see okay. I think in this template transaction receipt, we do not have any if conditions. Okay. Any other if condition we do not have. So you can use like this the if condition, and if you have any else part, then you can drag the else from the drop down, and but the condition is the in the row you have, first of all you have a values, and then you can drag the if, else, and if and else if. In the blank row, if you want to drag the else, then it will not dragging, it will show the error message. So like this you can use the if, and I am using a formula. Now I'm using a formula. I'm reducing the span size of the existing discount amount, which is 2 to 1, and the discount amount, okay, and the discount amount will comes in a one span. And now the drag the formula. In the formula, I am putting the value, the variable which we are calculating, and now so in the formula I am putting the value and the variable value. So just like that you can use the variable also. And in the existing transaction receipt, if you want to add any row below and above, then just right click from the existing object on the existing object, and then you can put an row above and row below from the object. And in the blank object, the blank line, if you click on the blank line, you can add any group control or set the row number of rows in the section part. And you can also set the number of columns in the section part. So in the current section we have only 4 columns, the including the conditional column also, which is populate in the violet color in the left side of the display section. So that's it. You can import or export the same XML to the your existing so now I am exporting the file on the desktop, and using the transaction receipt, and save it. And on the desktop I can see the XML is creating just like that.
Right. So guys, on that, I think we'll kind of end the session. I would like to open the questions, or open the forum for any more questions that you may have. And you can use the hand option. You can raise your hand, and or you can ask the question on the chat window, whichever is okay. So Sundarajan has a question. Let me unmute him. Yes, Sundaraja, please go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, can we print a watermark in the Preset Designer?
No, we can't print a watermark because we would much rather suggest that you use a pre-printed stationery, but we can't print a watermark for now. All right. Anybody else? If you have a question, as I said, you can always ask the question on the forums. We'll be more than happy. So we have Jose who wants to ask a question. Yes, I'm unmuting line. Please go ahead, ask the question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
I just noticed on the item, it consumes 2 lines. And I think some of the columns consume a long length. Can we put them in just one line by adjusting the column maybe?
I'm sorry, could you ask the question again, please?
No, can you go to the preview again? To the preview of the receipt?
Okay. Yes. Yes. This is the preview of it.
Okay, so as you can see, this one item consumes 2 lines because the total is on the next line already. Can we adjust the columns in such a way that they can fit into just one line, this item? I mean, the total is also on the same line instead of next line.
The total on the next line.
Yes. No, I mean on the same line, because in here it consumes already 2 lines, right?
Okay. So if you want to print the total on the same line, then you will use as a group control and right click to add group control, and in the group control you will drag the price discount in all the items in the separately. So after the price it will comes the discount amount, so it will not take the full size of one span. It will take the only the price, and then the price a little space comes, and then the discount value will comes, and the surcharge value will comes. So you have to use a group control to drag all the columns in the same line.
But can we decrease the length of the column?
Yes.
Like if I want to squeeze
The default length of the column is one span, so to one span you cannot decrease the value. If you have a 2 to more span value of the column, then you can decrease to 1 to 4, in between 1 to 4. The default
so
size
you cannot decrease
of the span is 1.
so you cannot decrease the size of each span.
The existing size.
You can only use the default.
Yes, the existing size you cannot decrease. So you want to decrease the using the group control.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Jyotsna. Anybody else who has a question? So what I would recommend is we should take up the remaining questions on the forum. I know it's a very interesting topic for all of us. Okay, but considering the paucity of time, we're anyways 20 minutes past the hour. I would much rather suggest that we take the remaining questions on the forum. We'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you so much for joining. And as I said, I look forward to speaking to all of you once again. On that, I will close the session, and I look forward to speaking to all of you once more. Thank you.